Last week we talked about what a highly effective church might look like. Today we're going to continue our study in 1 Thessalonians by asking the question, well, what makes up that highly effective church that we looked at last week? Is it a grand building with the most comfortable furniture? Is it the church that has the biggest budget, the most programs? The one with the buses that go out in the communities, the ones that have all the things that you could possibly ever think about? Is it the ones with the Starbucks in the lobby? Is it having the best preacher? Having the most interesting and varied worship service? Is it having the best choir or the most and largest music program? Is it the one that sells CDs out there? Answer we all know is that an effective church is made up of committed people. Whether it's 2,000 or 2, an effective church is a church that's made up of committed people. It's not four walls, it's not coffee pots, it's not CDs, it's not organs and pianos, it's not sound systems, it's people. So if it's the people, then what are we, as its people, called to do? We're all very comfortable here this morning, aren't we? But I would ask us all this morning to think about, what is our mission? What is the mission of the highly effective church that is in reality highly effective people? Everybody got your bulletin? Open it up and look at the second page at the bottom. What's there? Our mission statement. Look at that mission statement in our bulletin. It's there every week for us to think about, not just to take up that space at the bottom of the page. I've got all kinds of things I could put in there instead of that. But it's there for us to look at and to stay in front of us every single week so that we don't lose focus about why we're here. Today our focus moves from what we should look like internally, which we looked at last week, into what we should be doing externally outside these four walls. That mission statement that you see that the people of this church came up with, I didn't write that. It was a group effort. The whole church came together to write that. But that mission statement describes New Day as a community that's made up of individual members who come together to be empowered to reach out to others. What we do here on Sunday mornings is receive empowerment to reach out to others. And in doing so, we are to introduce them to the love and the strength of first a beloved community, because that in turn leads to a relationship with Jesus Christ. So how do we accomplish this mission? How do we put feet on those words that are in our bulletin? It's called evangelism. That word for many of us is a very frightening word. It brings to mind a lot of horrible memories from childhood. We think about those street corner preachers thumping people with the Bible. We think about some of the churches we grew up in where we had to go out on Thursday nights knocking on doors and handing out things. And it brings to mind very pushy people saying, we're right and you're wrong. We were talking about this in Sunday school this morning. How do we get the message out? Many of us have a horrible image of what evangelism is ingrained in us because of a church we possibly grew up in. And as soon as we were able, we ran away from those churches as fast as our little legs would carry us, didn't we? This morning I'd like for us to look at how Paul demonstrates evangelism in the city of Thessalonica, where we know he only was for 3 weeks. I would also like for us to think of evangelism in a new way. Not the old horrible way that we thought about it as a child. But this morning, I'd like to try to take some of the fear out of evangelism by simply thinking of it this way. This morning, I want to give you a new definition for evangelism. Evangelism is one beggar telling another where the bread is. Evangelism is one beggar telling another beggar where the bread is. Simply sharing some information. Thinking about sharing our story in light of that definition makes evangelism a little less frightening for me. I hope it does for you. I'd like you to listen to Paul's words in 1 Thessalonians 2. And then let's talk about how we can be effective people who share good news with others. This morning I'm reading from the Message. Here are Paul's words. So friends, it's obvious that our visit to you was not a waste of time. We had just been given rough treatment in Philippi, as you know, but that didn't slow us down. We were sure of ourselves in God, and we went right ahead and we said our piece, presenting God's message to you, defiant of the opposition. God tested us thoroughly to make sure we were qualified to be trusted with this message. Be assured that when we speak to you, we are not after crowd approval, only God approval. Since we've been put through that battery of tests, you're guaranteed that both we and the message are free of error, mixed motives, or hidden agendas. We never used words to butter you up. No one knows that better than you. And God knows we never used words as a smokescreen to take advantage of you. Even though we had some standing as Christ's apostles, we never threw our weight around or tried to come across as important with you or anyone else. We weren't aloof with you. We took you just as you were. We were never patronizing, never condescending, but we cared for you the way a mother cares for her children. We loved you dearly, and not content just to pass on the message, we wanted to give you our hearts, and we did. Paul, Timothy, and Silas gave the people in Thessalonica their hearts. They had to do that before they could begin doing anything else. They had to fall in love with and create relationships with the people in this city before they could ever preach a message of good news. In hearing Paul's words, I'd like to share some of my thoughts that will hopefully take the fear out of evangelism for many of us and allow us and encourage us even, challenge us to be the mission-minded church that we say we are. I believe that we began to get a handle on personal evangelism by first and foremost being confident in our message. I cannot sell things. I am not a salesman. I know and have known people in the past who can sell ice cubes to Eskimos. They're slick. They know the pattern. They can do it. The only way I can sell you something is if you come to me and you say, Steve, can I please buy that from you? And then I'll probably try to give it to you. I'm not a salesperson. Because so many times I've been asked to sell things that I really wasn't confident in. Coming from the restaurant industry, you know, they'd put something new on the menu. Well, you know, the chef would take 20 minutes fixing this dish that he wanted us all to try and sell. And then the first one that you went out and sold after you tasted this wonderful meal was really not quite even close to what he had put out for the servers to try. Because they had spent 5 minutes on this one and 20 minutes on that one. So, the secret to selling anything is being confident in the product that you're selling. Same is true with evangelism. The secret to sharing the good news is to be confident in it ourselves. And for Christians, there's no firmer basis of confidence than the message of Jesus Christ. Romans 1:16 says, I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God for salvation for everyone who believes. The message is God's power in action. The message has the ability to transform lives. Not us. We're simply messengers. But it's the message that has God's power. Our problem sometimes is that our confidence gets misplaced. We place our confidence in the circumstances and the situations that surround us. Well, this isn't the right time or the right place to do this. I'll wait till later because right now it's really not convenient because I'm in a hurry or they're in a hurry. Or I just don't think they're receptive to hearing anything about my God right now. Or we put our confidence in a technique. Ooh, I don't have my Bible, so I can't give them the Romans roads right now, and I might get a step out of place. Or any other soul-winning technique that you may have learned in the Southern Baptist Church, or any of the other evangelical churches that have run more people off than brought them in. We misplace our confidence by putting it in circumstances, situations, and techniques instead of the message that we're sharing. Amen. Our confidence has got to be in the message. And God's announcement of Jesus Christ. Gordon Maxwell was a Christian worker in India. And the people respected him because he worked hard and his Christian character was evident to everyone who came to him. One day he asked a Hindu man to teach him one of the tribal languages of the groups that he wanted to converse with, become friends with. And the man said, no, Gordon, because if I do that, then you're going to convert us all to Christianity. Gordon said, no, you don't understand. I just want to be able to speak to people and make friends. But the Hindu man said, no, I will not teach you, because no one can know you or live around you and not become a Christian. You might remember from our retreat last year when we did the story that evangelism must be personal. I can't tell you Tim's story because it doesn't work for me. Allison can't tell you my story because it doesn't work for her. Each of our stories is very personal and unique of how God has worked in our lives through Jesus Christ. What we are sharing with those around us and those we're in relationship with is the story of what God has done in our lives through Jesus Christ. I can't share with you what God has done in Brooke's life because I don't know. I don't know Brooke's heart. Brooke knows Brooke's heart, and she can share what's in her heart. And it's shown in the way she lives and the people that she's in relationship with. She touches lives that I could never, ever even come close to meeting. Much less touch. Christy is out there meeting people and knowing people, and she can talk to them much more than I will ever be able to do before. So often the power of our message is found in how we conduct our lives more than the words that we speak. You know, we've all experienced hypocrisy in our lives. Every one of us has been touched by the evil age. But I believe, as I said